You're listening to the Churros y Tácticas podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Churros y Tácticas podcast. This is your host, Kiyan Sobhani. Joining me is my co-host, as always, from his home in Barcelona, is Diego Lorijn. Diego, what's up, man?
That's right, Kiyan. Not from the streets of Barcelona this time, just from home, little old home. Also in Barcelona, but a little more comfortable, less windy. A lot of wind over here these days. I don't know what's going on, but weather's funny these days.
You were in the streets. Was it yesterday? 2 days? When was the Barca
Last
game?
Week. Oh,
because you did your podcast for Talking La Liga. You were talking to fans, right?
That's right.
Is this going to turn
yesterday.
into Arsenal Fan TV, but podcast, but with different clubs? Do you get
possibly.
like heated fans, or like just pretty chill?
Yeah, well, I mean, Barca played away yesterday, so.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, of course, we'll get in the mugs, in people's faces, in their mugs, and ask them difficult questions at heated times. But
do you actively seek out angry people?
Well, you try to
Do
seek
you like
out
avoid
people
children?
that kind of.
Avoid sweet children. Just go to like the angry drunk guy to get the clicks.
Well, you know what the thing is? This is not England, so it's very hard to pick up. To kind of see angry drunk people walking around, and that's not a dig at the English people. But the beer they serve at stadiums here is non-alcoholic, so you don't really find.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you don't find drunkards walking around the stadium.
Wait, hold on.
Unfortunately, I guess.
What?
Yeah.
Non-alcoholic beer. Does anyone really drink beer for taste? And it might be a naive question because this is coming from someone who doesn't drink. Why drink it? Do they drink it? They don't.
Yeah. Well, they do. You see people. Sure, people drink it. They at the halftime you might get a Frankfurt, like a hot dog, and to go along with that, you either have a Coke, some water, or a non-alcoholic beverage. Usually a beer. I personally don't drink it because. For me, I'm kind of like, why am I consuming calories if it's really nothing going to do for me? It's a lot of calories. Yeah, so
empty
I'll just
calories
have water.
That doesn't alter your mind at all.
That doesn't exactly. Gives you no satisfaction. But so I mean, I'm not big, and also for me, a non-alcoholic beer always has a funny taste, and I know that. The marketing campaigns try to tell you that this is the real flavor without the alcohol. For me, from what I've tasted, and I haven't tasted a lot, but from what I have, it's never, taste-wise also never met my expectations. So I try to stay clear from non-alcoholic beers.
Do you also have to seek out English-speaking people? Is that difficult or no?
No. What's difficult is getting people to talk. So, I approached them and I asked them, oye, ¿os puedo hacer algunas preguntas? Es para un podcast. So I explain them in Spanish. Hey, can I ask you guys a couple of questions for a podcast? And they're like, yeah, cool. And then I say, será en inglés. And then, I say, break the news that it has to be in English. And that's when people get more hesitant. So it's more getting people to talk in English than to talk in general. I mean, Spanish people love to talk, but they shy away a little bit when it's in English. But that's where perhaps the younger generation is definitely more open and more approachable than, say, the older generation, because the younger generation are more educated in English as a foreign language.
So no one would have had anything to complain about this particular game. It was in Malaga. It was... Yeah. Does it get any easier than what you guys went through that on Saturday? You had no Messi, no Iniesta, to be clear.
I was going to say it could be easier if we had Messi out there, and Andres Iniesta, of course. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead, finish your point.
Well, that was it. I mean, you didn't have Messi or Iniesta, but you had Malaga to make up for it. And the moment, first of all, it's interesting because we were all so excited halfway through the season, and we still are happy generally about this particular point, that Girona Levante, and Getafe are infinitely better than Granada, Osasuna, and Gijón, who went down. We were happy about that. But we kind of, now things have been normalized, and we look at the three teams going down, and Depor, Malaga, and in my opinion, Las Palmas will go join them. I think they've just been so terrible that they've almost kind of balanced it out. And the weird thing about Malaga is that they've just been really bad results-wise, and the eye test hasn't really been as bad as like what we saw Granada do last season. But this game, they were complete zeros. And I don't think there's ever been a team more dead at the very point that Malaga were down 2-0, and then Samuel Garcia got the red card. And like at that very moment, it was I really feel like everyone just wanted to go home.
Interesting. I like your analogy there. I like the example you're throwing out. I'll argue that I think I saw Malaga more dead the last game of last season when they were facing who again? Were they facing? Who were they? Who was that again? They were facing last game of the season last year.
This is baloney.
And who was that defender that just let Ronaldo run and score a goal in that opening minute and a half? What was it? It was against Real Madrid.
You do realize that we were that day we were facing Sandro Ramirez, who is a massive culé, and he was doing everything in his power to make sure we don't win the league.
I don't know about that, man. Yes. Come on, you know that I don't know who the defender was anymore, but he just gave Ronaldo.
The only thing you need to know is that Real Madrid deserved that league title. That's all. That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. To your point, yes, this was a doozy. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
A doozy. Yeah. And
actually, I have no idea what doozy means. I don't know. It sounds.
It's
right.
an American. It sounds about right, right? I hear Americans say it, so I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Here's what doozy means. It means something outstanding or unique of its kind.
That's not what I was going for.
I think you're looking for something like it was a walk in the park.
It was a cakewalk. Yeah, exactly. Walk in the park. Yeah. And I kind of, I was very excited before this match, obviously, especially when I saw the once titular, the starting 11, seeing Coutinho, Dembele out there. I think all culés will agree we were excited before the match. It was a perfect occasion to kind of showcase, for them to showcase what they have to offer. Dembele to also play without the pressure. And I think I was of the opinion that the fact that Messi wasn't there in particular kind of probably would have helped the occasion. Dembele of late, every time he kind of, not only Messi, but when he plays with the first starting 11, sometimes seems a little nervous, a little bit scared. And I thought that this, not looking over your left shoulder and seeing Messi could kind of maybe alleviate him from that pressure. And I think we saw that. Now, of course, again, we're facing Malaga, the worst team of the season, and a lot can be said about the quality of the opposition, but I would like to stick to what I saw from the Barca players, and I thought in overall Coutinho and Dembele, it was their moment, and they shined in the spotlight that was shed upon them. They played good. They had a good game. They had obviously a fantastic goal. I thought Dembele played very suelto, very relaxed. Played with a smile on his face. Coutinho, for me, again, is the natural successor. And I said this before his arrival. I think I said this over the summer, that if Coutinho were to arrive, he could actually replace Messi if Messi ever doesn't play in that in his false 9 position, or that's kind of adapted now as well. But in that number 10 spot, all in all, a great game, but all of our minds are set, of course, on Chelsea. So, yeah.
So I don't know what else to say. This was the argument, basically, to be patient with Dembele. Is this because you had mentioned that you wanted to see? Forgive me. Maybe you didn't say this. Maybe I heard it somewhere else. That you wanted Dembele to play against, was it Chelsea or Atletico or one of them? And my argument was like, yeah, I understand a player of that price tag, you want him to play big games, but the flip side is, instead of throwing him into the fire in those games, you put him in a with all due respect to Malaga, a really easy game. And he gets his confidence and he gets his groove. 6 completed dribbles, 4 key passes, looked comfortable. As you mentioned, he had that assist. Arguably one of the best players on the pitch. Well, he was. And that is probably what Valverde just wanted to do, just ease him in, get him confident, and then you can start playing him in bigger games. Do you think he plays against Chelsea?
I think he'll get minutes. I don't think he'll start. I think depending on how the game will go, he should get some minutes. My biggest thing was, I don't think what you were referring to was that you were quoting me, because I was, ever since, it was really in Las Palmas when I saw Valverde didn't name him in the starting 11 against Las Palmas. For me, that was the end of Dembele's season, really. I thought, okay, this kid is not going to play any kind of important minutes or be really much of a decisive factor, an important key component to this final stretch of the season, because of because the like Valverde's formula is working for him so far. So, like he says, there's no time for experimenting. I'd rather focus on cosas fijas, on sure things, and what has been on guarantees, and what has been guaranteeing me success so far is this 4-4-2 system, as opposed to having to incorporate these 2 mega signings. So for me, that was kind of it for Dembele. I thought, okay, let's all be patient and look forward to next season. Now, having seen him against Malaga, I kind of, and knowing the way Chelsea plays, they obviously parked that bus in front of the goal. Yes, Dembele could be that player that stretches the defense in a massive pitch, the likes we have here over at the Camp Nou. So it could happen. Kiyan. This might be unpopular, and I always, I say it on D-Spot, I say it on Churros y Tácticas. I think that Valverde will probably choose Andre Gomez well, I mean, first of all, Iniesta is going to be back. So, as in the case that Iniesta wasn't going to be back, I thought that Andre Gomez would play.
Right. Did you see Andre Gomez open up to the media about?
Yes. Do
you feel bad?
And of course, I feel bad, man. Did you see my last? D-Spot, Barça Blaugranes.
No.
Well, it was basically I started it on Churros y Tácticas, and then that rant. Remember that rant, the bullying rant?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that continued for another, say, 48 or 38 minutes on D-Spot, and it was all aimed at the so-called culés that voice this frustration and anger, or just basically have this bullying type of attitude toward Andre Gomez. And now today I saw this, and I feel bad for him. Of course I feel bad for him, man. And he openly says it. He's he says, I'm not myself because I'm nervous, because I'm scared. I don't even want to leave my house at times. I mean, poor guy, dude.
I wonder. It's really interesting living in this day and age, because we're opening up more as human beings, more than we ever have, publicly. Like we have a means and tools like websites, blogs, social media to tell people how we feel. And you see these articles from players like DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Love, and the Players Tribune about their mental health. And I wonder if we'll start seeing them from professional footballers too. Because we all know, and this is no secret, every single human being is battling something, right? And I feel like Andre Gomez, even giving a glimpse of that, and how it's brave. It's not hard to admit these things, Yeah. I don't know. I hope that deep down he's able to find himself and find the footballer he was. And he wasn't a superstar, and he wasn't like this elite world-class player, but you can visibly see the lack of confidence he has right now, and I hope he at least finds that at another club if he's going somewhere next season.
Yeah, me too. Well said.
So the only thing I could say about Malaga in this game, apart from Samuel Garcia's red card, who did he go on? Was it Alba on that challenge?
Yeah. Alba, yeah. Scared to death.
Alba
grabbed my heart.
Was amazing, by the way. That pass on the
that
first
whole
goal,
season, man.
This is. I think this is his best season ever. I think you can make the case. Yusuf and Nasri, the Malaga striker, missed a crazy open header. Do you remember? It was in the first half or second half. They had very rare moments where they attack. Actually, somehow I think they played better in the second half with 10 men. But also Barca I think we're just going through the motions.
Checked out.
And I just wanted to say this. En Nasri, with that crazy header miss, a couple of weeks ago, I actually went on I Googled his name to kind of find out more about his background and where he's from. And in his Wikipedia page, it said he can head the ball like a god or something. He can score. He's a god that can score headers from anywhere. And then I went and checked, and after he missed that header, and it was taken out of his Wikipedia page. So just some fun facts for you on this Monday.
Interesting. That's so funny, though.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Little details that only I would notice about someone really random.
Yeah, that's funny.
Anything else you want to say about this game, or there's kind of more interesting talking points beyond the game itself?
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, I felt that this game was, again, the highlights was Dembele, Coutinho, and then for me, it was all about Chelsea. It's just at this moment in time, it's kind of like, okay, we La Liga's in the bag. We need 7 more wins. We'll be crowned La Liga champions again. Copa del Rey looks likely. So with relative ease, if I can say so, Barca will win the doblete this year. But now it's just about the Champions League, man. It's the Champions League that we want, the Champions League that culés are drooling for. We are dying to dethrone our arch enemy and crown ourselves European champions one more. That's what our eyes are set at. And that's not to say that we will devalue or not be happy with La Liga and Copa del Rey, of course, but just hungry for some Champions League action.
The best part about having your team already qualified for the next round is just so early, you get to sit back and watch the anxiety of everyone else who hasn't qualified yet. It's the best.
I know, and there's anxiety. This one's not going to be easy on Wednesday.
You texted me before the PSG game and you asked me if I'm shitting my pants, and I didn't answer.
I know.
I generally can't answer texts at all during games, but I was relieved to text you after the game.
I was never expecting an answer. I was just hoping that you would see my text.
So how will you? Can I flip this? Are you shitting your pants like Sergio Ramos?
I am a little bit. I'll tell you what. I'm always nervous with these kind of matches, and more so with the team that I know is going to come with their mindset on not playing any football. So yeah.
Well, I'm very interested in watching this game, as pretty well the whole world is. I think Barca is rightly the favorite. So I was thinking in my head, because I've read a lot of people kind of trying to play like armchair manager and say Conte has to attack, he has no choice. And it was interesting because Hazard, after the first leg, said, we have no choice, we have to go on Camp Nou and attack. I'm not so sure. I would I think it would be more pragmatic of Chelsea to just stay calm and defend the way they did in the first leg, because the only thing that undid them was that mistake and multiple domino mistakes that after the Christensen's pass, where they still could have. I feel like they could have salvaged the sequence, which they didn't. But even if they defend, they're still going to get enough counterattacking chances, I think.
Listen, they are. I totally agree with you. I think that Conte will come here with the exact same game plan. I don't expect to see a Chelsea that is going to be overly ambitious or anxious to go out in attack mode whatsoever. Right. No way.
They'll get ripped. They would get ripped, and it would be over too early.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I hope they do. Please do. Please come and try to play us one-on-one and attacking style of football. That would be excellent. Arsenal's been trying to do that for years. It suits us just fine. But no, I don't expect to see that whatsoever. I expect to see a very patient and pragmatic Chelsea sitting back, and I'm fearing that Willian guy, man. Oh my goodness! Let's hope that he is.
He was great again on the weekend.
He was, yeah. Although they won 2-1, right? It wasn't too convincing, their performance.
Well, no, but
from what I read, I didn't see any.
They haven't been that impressive generally domestically, and I think I'm sure they had one eye on on the Camp Nou because that's what they're thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Willian as a player. I've always liked him, and I even like during his slump under Conte where he wasn't playing much, I was kind of surprised. I think he's a really dangerous player. He's really smart. And I guess the other question is, will Conte actually play a 9 in this game? Will he go with a Morata or a Giroud, or will he just keep it the same way and have Willian and Hazard just try to be efficient on the counter? You know what? Thing is too, Barca will play a very high line because they generally do. Yeah. And it's about making sure that Piqué and Umtiti and Busquets snuff it out in time before Hazard and Willian get to it on the counter. And Ter Stegen has a good game off his line, coming off his. So fascinating. It's going to be nice to watch this. Just popcorn and really relax, recline on my chair.
What are you thinking? Just taking in.
What am I thinking? I think Barca goes through. Having said that, who knows? I don't know. This is.
No, you said it already. You said Barca was going to go through.
Yeah.
Don't. I know you're trying. Now you're thinking of your Madridista followers there. You're thinking, oh shit, I spoke too soon. I was too.
Nope. Barca goes through. I'm not changing my mind on that. And this is a win-win for me because if I'm wrong, fantastic. I would like to be wrong. So I have nothing. There's no risk in saying what I'm saying. And, football is this is really cliche. Well, we know footballs aren't predictable. Very few people saw the 2-goal swing in the Tottenham Juve game, and then we saw it.
What a game. What a great game that was.
What Jesus. A game.
By the way, did you see, sorry to interrupt, but I have to mention this now that you touched on that match. Did you see that footage from this Argentine commentator basically just ripping Dybala to shreds live on air during that match, going, look at Dybala. They said that he was Messi, the next Messi. He doesn't even have a place for me on the squad. Like, while he's ripping him to pieces, just hardcore. I mean,
was it before he scored or after?
So this is while he's saying that he's going on this rant. It was a good minute rant on how bad Dybala has been that game and this entire season. Dybala goes on the run and scores the winning goal, and the guy has to, like here in Spain they say cantar el gol. He has to sing his goal. So in that same breath, he then goes goal, Dybala goal, Dybala goal. And then they did. Oh, it was amazing. It's on YouTube. I'll send it to you.
I think I can kind of understand what happened there because I didn't slander Dybala, but but several moments before he scores, he misses a really good chance. And so I tweeted, I was like, come on, Dybala, make this interesting for us neutrals at least. Like, put a goal in. And then then afterwards, this is generally like, this is something like my tweets and this Argentina guy like hits home because I always tend to change the outcome of something with a tweet. And the universe just wants to prove me wrong.
Oh my gosh! I'm going to be looking out for your tweets on Wednesday. Then,
have we made it official yet? Is the Arthur signing official?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's official. My only confusion is it January or June? I still have not pinpointed. I think there's the option for June, but the likely scenario will be January 2019.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
So this was kind of an ongoing saga, not really a saga, but you've been flirting with them since the Club World Championships. I remember. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you remember I mentioned it to you. I said keep an eye out for this Arthur kid because he's on Barca's radar, and you're right. That was kind of ongoing. And then Man U came into the picture a little bit. I mean, I don't know what is true, what is not during that time, but I'm happy with Barca signing this very young Brazilian midfielder, also known as the Brazilian Xavi. I have seen very little of him. I've spoken to many people who have seen much more football than I have, or Brazilian football than I have, that swear that nickname, that his apodo, the nickname that he has is justified, that he's got that ability. You know how Xavi would
play mind tricks on other players. He would have that now you see it, now you don't kind of moves. He would tease you with the ball, allow you to see the ball, and then make the defender or the other player think that they can get to the ball, and then with just a little turn, basically dismantle the player and then go off on a break or make the killer pass. And from what I've been seeing, he has that ability. Arthur has a very similar playing style as to Xavi. So I'm very excited that we've been looking to fill Xavi's boots and to look out for a player the likes of Xavi. Obviously, filling those boots they're huge boots. It'll be a monstrous task, a mountain of a task. But let's take a step by step. He said he's nervous. He said he's nervous to come. I don't blame him. Again, especially given the little patience that culés are showing these days. I ask everybody to be patient with this kid. Let him arrive. He obviously comes from a totally different football world. He needs to adapt to not only a different style of football, new country, new city, new language. He said he doesn't know any Spanish, so he'll have to learn Spanish as well. So it's going to take time. But all in all, in general, as with most new signings, I'm excited to see this. Absolutely.
In the last 4 months or so, has Bartomeu won you back any brownie points?
It's a very good question, Kiyan. Very good question. I've asked myself that question, and I haven't asked other culés yet, but I've asked myself that question. And listen, when won me back, or in terms of has he won me back? He's making amends, and at the end of the season, I can give you a better answer to that question. I will say that I still strongly feel that certain things he's done very wrong, but nobody's perfect, and mistakes are there to be learned from, and time heals all wounds, especially if that time is filled with trophies. So
you re-signed Messi, you re-signed did you re-sign Iniesta?
Yep.
Piqué.
Yep.
Sergio Roberto. He's renaming.
Umtiti's got to be next.
He's renaming the stadium in honor of Cruyff.
Not the Camp Nou. No, the mini estadi.
The mini estadi. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, of course. And then a couple smart pickups. You got Coutinho, you got Arthur now, and I'm assuming some of the dead weight gets sold this summer. By the way, what happens to Denis Suarez? Do you think he's gone? He kind of fell off the planet again.
Yeah, man, he did. I feel bad. I mean,
then
he injured himself.
Like early on, he got injured. He's injured now.
He's got to go to Napoli. He's got to go somewhere where his playing style, to a team that fits his playing style. I think Napoli would be great. They've showed interest in him in the past. They could probably pick him up at a good price. It would be a win-win for everybody. I don't know him personally, but I've always had a soft spot for him, and I wish him well. So if he's not here, then go to a team that at least fits that philosophy. He's used to. Yeah.
One more Barca thing. It's not really a Barca thing, but Barca is spearheading it. Okay. They've submitted a request to change the Copa del Rey format into like the FA Cup, Coppa Italia, the one game, instant knockout format up until the semis. Which I don't know. Why don't we just go all the way and go straight through?
Because Italy has that too. The Italian Copa del Rey has, in the semis they play a double header.
Do you want to know a fun fact?
Go on.
The last time I think La Liga was, because La Liga used to be like this, right? Mm-hmm. We used to have this one-game format, and I think the last season we stopped doing it was the season Barca got knocked out by a third division side.
Okay,
can't remember who it was. 2005, 2006.
Fantastic.
There you go.
That's what the Copa del Rey is all about. It's to give those teams a chance over two legs. With the second leg usually at the strongest team home, you're not giving them any chance. And also think about this, and you given, you're a stat man, you love your stats. I would love to know how many more minutes Barca has played as opposed to Real Madrid going every time to the Copa del Rey final for I don't know how many years. Those are a lot more minutes that our players play that obviously backfire when we have to play massive teams in the Champions League. I'm sure of that.
I agree. I agree that it's more fun this way. I agree that it's better for the smaller teams because the more games you play, the less a smaller team, the less chance they have to win over 180 minutes as opposed to 90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So you have a bit more unpredictability. The devil's advocate is, and I don't think this is enough to trump it, would be less games that you theoretically would play like your younger players or your like Castilla players or your academy players, because it's like more of a do or die game. Although that didn't stop Zidane from playing them against Leganes and getting eliminated. And
good point.
I guess you'd have to make sure where does the game get played? Is it if it's in? You have to make sure it's in the smaller team stadium because. If you don't, then that smaller team loses out on a bunch of revenue that they would have earned. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's what it's about. Yeah. I think that should be the spirit of this competition. A competition that at this point is, it's kind of taken with... I mean, I have to say, the final is always fun, especially... when you go to the, say, Valencia or the Wanda Metropolitano, wherever, the Mestalla, wherever the match is held, on match day, given the fact that it's a final, it's electric, right? There's the atmosphere is fun, it's festive, and it's fun to partake in that. And but winning the Copa del Rey trophy itself, and I'm probably talking as a culé more than any other team that would win it at this point. But for culés, winning the Copa del Rey really is un chupito, and I know that sounds very disrespectful. Chupito means a little shot glass, but that's not really what we want to be playing for. That's not our ilusión. Our grand desire at the beginning of the season is say, let's go for this Copa del Rey, guys. It's just not at this point.
I'm a huge fan of do or die games, single elimination. I really like the stakes, the excitement, the unpredictability. I really like it.
Yeah.
I think I'd actually like to see it implemented more, just generally. And I was trying to think of ways where you could incorporate this into La Liga somehow, because every season towards the tail end of La Liga, there's like a million games which mean nothing, and there's zero point in watching them, because some teams are already disqualified from Europe and they're not going to get relegated, so they have nothing to play for, nothing to strive for, nothing at stake. Some teams are already relegated, some teams are already in the top 4 locked in, Europa League locked in, and it's just like we have to play these games, and there's no real there's nothing behind it, like nothing like just motivating us to watch or play these games. So I was thinking you make a playoff seeding, and I've written about this before, where you actually make seeding important from top to bottom. Even if you're like 12th place, it matters. It matters more than 14th place, for example, because the teams at the end of the league, they go into a playoff. And then based on the playoffs, so you'd put the bottom 16 teams under the top 4 in a playoff. So like let's say everyone from Villarreal and Sevilla all the way down to Malaga, you play based on seeding. You go Villarreal, for example, versus Malaga, the last place team. And then it's a single elimination bracket, and based on that, we decide who gets relegated, who stays up, and who qualifies for Europe. I think it would be...
You've thought this through, my man.
Yeah, because I've written about it. I actually went through and I figured out how it would work mathematically, and I think...
Wow.
Because I can't stand the end of the season where there's no point. There's 0 point. 0 point. It's meaningless. This is the one thing I love about American sports, is that they make every single seeding important in the standings from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Makes it more
Although
exciting.
there in the NBA, you can argue, of course, that the difference between the East and the West is so huge that really, what you should be going for is picking the 16 best teams overall as opposed to separating into conferences.
And that is apparently going to happen.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because Adam Silver...
What?
Yeah, the commissioner talked about this. They're saying
great.
they're going to probably scrap East and West.
Oh,
I don't think he said it
That's
directly,
awesome.
but he hinted at it because they're changing the playoff structure to make it more exciting because the first few rounds are just abysmal. And very predictable. So it'd be like 1 versus 16 instead of,
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, dude, Adam Silver, the NBA in general, also David Stern, they're awesome. They're fantastic. Such a great league. Really, they know how to advance with the times and be, adapt quickly and just be open-minded to such changes.
It is an
That's
amazing
great.
sport filled with a lot of influence, socially, politically, and the entertainment value has been amazing.
Yes.
Let's take questions.
Okay.
First question is from a patron, and if you guys like the show, you want to pledge, you want to get guaranteed responses to your questions, you want to get other rewards, patreon.com/churros y tácticas is where you go. You can pledge as little as $1 a month, and please support us if you can. First patron question is from Essa Hariri. He says, isn't it strange that Sevilla have a negative goal differential, despite being the 5th best team in the league? I mean, how can this be possible?
Mm-hmm.
Neither of us clued into this before the podcast until Essa pointed it out, actually. They have 36 goals for
and then we
against.
did some digging, and then the answer was very logical, actually.
The only other team in the top 8 that is in a similar situation is Eibar. Everyone else has scored more goals than they have conceded. And like you said, it's a very simple reason why. You look at Sevilla's results, and their wins are very narrow margin. So, for example, 2-1 against Las Palmas, 2-0 against Bilbao, 1-0 against Malaga, and you go down the list. And then their losses have been bad. So they conceded 5 against Eibar. They conceded 5 against Betis. They conceded 5 against Real Madrid. And, I mean, those were the heaviest ones. But this is essentially the reason why is this. 5
against Atletico?
Yeah. There you go. That's the... Is there any way to break it down any further? That's it, right?
That's it.
Yeah. Next question is from Twitter. It's from Nitigia Golate. He says, of all the teams...
Nitigia.
Oh, did I say that wrong?
No, I don't know. I just know his name by now. He's also D-Spot loyal.
Oh, there you go.
La Liga Lowdown loyal now. Barça La Grande loyal.
Fantastic. I love it.
Yes.
Your pronunciation is probably better than mine because mine is always off the mark. And he says, of all the teams, against whom is the best possibility that Barcelona may end its unbeaten run? Tell us, Diego. When is it going to come to an end?
Yowza. Slip up at Balaidos, maybe? Who we still got?
You got Sanchez Pizjuan coming up.
Yes. I kind of fancy our chances against Sevilla.
Okay.
I'm more scared of, say, a Celta. Because Unzue, probably has the most inspiring day that day, gives the most of motivational speeches before, and sends his crew out to face us. So I kind of, I have that one marked in my calendar. Other than that, I'm really have our eyes set on an unbeaten season this year. I think we can do it. Man. That's
amazing. All of this, and you didn't mention that the fact that you have a Clásico coming up.
Oh man,
completely brushed it off.
We've got this. We've got that. No.
So you have Valencia at home. Valencia, I can't fancy them getting anything against you anymore. They've cooled off so much, and it's not like this is the Valencia of old with Claudio Lopez, who they were like your bogey team. That era is long gone.
David, Kiyan said it, not me. This is all Kiyan. Let's just like David Garrido. No, that's
David
your
understands. I don't think David feels any different. You have Sociedad on the last match day.
Oh yeah, I know. That's true. That's true.
But the league will be over by then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course, exactly.
The league's going to be over by the Clásico too, which sucks. I think from what I remember, and I don't know if we have that much sample size, but the 2 times I remember that there's been a Clásico after the title's been decided, both times the champion just won the game. So one was
the El Pasillo. I remember that one.
Pasillo was a blowout, 4-1, and then there was another one where we had won the league. Was it 2012? We won the league. Ronaldo came in and scored a free kick off the bench, or maybe I can't remember. Maybe we tied that game. Either way, I don't like the idea of playing this game when the league's over. It's gonna
watered down Clásico for sure.
Yeah.
See, I think the league will be over by then as well, and I still don't think that we'll lose. So,
Great.
Any slip up, I kind of see it potentially happen in Balaidos. But yeah, other than that,
knowing that you're already gonna win the league, I'd be okay if you had no more slip ups. If your only slip up came against Chelsea tomorrow or on Wednesday.
Oh Jesus! Don't say that.
Yeah.
No, I don't want that.
No, don't worry. You got that too. Don't worry. Question from Christopher McCormick. He says, we all despise him with a vengeance, but you have to admit Raul Garcia is having a hell of a season. 7 goals.
I thought Christopher was talking about me there for a second. Okay. Raul Garcia, right? Okay.
You
despise him?
Raul
Why?
Garcia?
What? Yeah. What? No, not at all. In fact, I love Raul Garcia.
Tell me why you love Raul Garcia.
Because I guess he was the biggest pain in the ass for Madridistas. Mm-hmm. He just made those games when he was when he was playing for Atlético de Madrid. Those derbies were just electrifying. So much fun to watch. And it's true that Raul Garcia had this way with El Equipo Blanco, right? With Madrid to just kind of get into their heads and, get into Ramos and Pepe's faces and score goals. I mean, he scored a couple against you guys, right? From the corner header and stuff.
I don't know. I refuse to acknowledge his existence. I don't. There's very few footballers that I really have to pinpoint and say, I don't like this guy. I'd say you have a few of them on your team. Starting with Jordi Alba.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's poor old Jordi? Okay.
Then Dani Alves, and it was really satisfying beating him, knocking him out of the Champions League two years in a row.
What was that about? What happened between him and Ronaldo? It seemed kind of clickbaity, so I didn't even
He wiped
follow
his
it up.
snot on Ronaldo's
shirt.
Did
he really do that?
Yeah.
I didn't see
video footage.
That's no, Danny. No, Danny. Why do you do that, Danny? See, Danny and me are friends, and I'm going to have a word with him about that.
Raul Garcia, he scored a brace on the weekend. When Bilbao beat Leganés. Here's my way of not acknowledging that and throwing water on that. The first goal that he scored was a header. And it was the opening goal. And if we're being honest, Ivan Cuellar, who was Leganés' goalkeeper, made a complete meal out of it. He came out of his net to try to block the cross, and he wasn't anywhere close. And Raul Garcia headed it home. And also, get this. Raul Garcia in this game, 37% passing accuracy.
Oh my!
When was the last time you saw anyone pass? That means he misplaced 12 passes.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Failed that class.
Big fail.
Yeah, Jesus. Don't even know if the 2 goals makes. Well, yeah, it does make up for it, but damn. Yeah, I haven't seen numbers like that in a long time.
I don't even know if I've seen numbers like that.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't go and religiously check everyone's player accuracy. So.
You don't.
And maybe it happens every
don't
day.
Lie.
Who knows? Maybe it's completely average. But it looks bad. Martin Waldy says, if Real Madrid were to loan out Martin Odegaard to a Spanish side next season, which team do you think would be the best fit? Consider the amount of minutes he would get and the quality of the team. Did you see his goal yesterday?
I did. Yeah. I've been reading up on him. Obviously, again, me being
Where do you do
Dutch,
your reading on him, though? This is very important because the only place in the world who actually gives him fair credit is Managing Madrid. Nobody else has any authority to write about him.
All right. Well, I'll let my fellow Dutch journalists know. But no, yeah, just in Dutch websites, Football Insight is one, and the Telegraph Sport, they also write quite often about him. Look, and he's having a good season. It's exciting. I'm happy for the kid. I thought he was going to be a dud. And it turns out that Holland was the right choice for him. It's funny that at Heerenveen he's setting his mark. Do you think he'll come to Spain, or do you think Ajax will pick him up for a season or two? How old is he now? 14?
He's 19.
19. He still looks 14, but
he looks young.
But I think Villarreal, to get to Martin's question, I would like to see him with that sort of a team. What do you think?
That'd be cool. I know that he needs to. I would like to see him at a higher level. So the Dutch league is a much higher level than he was playing at Castilla. Like that goes without saying, which was good. And the most important thing is that he plays every single game, which is good because we've had disasters with previous loanees with Borja Mayoral last season at Wolfsburg didn't play. Fede Valverde hasn't played at all with Depor this season. So that's really important, that the fact that he's played a lot. I think wherever he goes, it doesn't have to be La Liga. If it's somewhere like, let's say, in the top 4 or 5 leagues, I'm okay with that. Spain, England, Italy, Germany. Who is the 5th best league? I don't know. Portugal? Anyways.
Wait, France.
Sorry, France. Yeah, France is, I guess. I would like to see him at that level. It doesn't have to be in La Liga. If it's in La Liga, it has to be for a team that's going to play him. So would Villarreal play him? I think he could swing it, but it would be tough. Like you have Castillejo there, you have Fornals there.
Yeah. Fornals is good season. Yeah.
And a lot of these teams, like I was thinking about Celta, they're pretty stacked in that position.
Of course.
Betis too. Yeah. Like there's a lot of teams in La Liga I'd like to see him in, but I'm worried about his playing time, I guess.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point.
As we know that teams who accept players on loan have no invested interest in a player to be like, oh, we're developing you for our future. No, we're actually doing Real Madrid a favor.
Yeah. So could he go to Ajax and play with Justin?
It would be a step up. Like, to be honest, the Dutch league has been shockingly bad. It's not what it used to be. I'm sorry, I forgot you're Dutch.
Dude. I mean, this is you're stating the obvious. No, it's an absolute disaster. It's literally a disaster. Yeah. But I like that Justin Kluivert, of course, I'm referring to, that he's committed to Ajax over the long term, or at least. I mean, long term. Nowadays, when you talk long term, you say 2 years, 3 years. Listen, that's my point. Is he good? The media's hyping him up. When he has good moments, he's very good, and it's very exciting to see those highlights and see him play. At a level that maybe reminds some of us about of his father. I think that is.
He looks so much like him, by the way. It's crazy.
He does look quite a lot. But I think comparing him to his dad will do him no favors, because Patrick was just in a league of his own.
Different positions too, right? I think Patrick, isn't striker. Justin more of a winger?
Yeah. He likes to cut inside though a little bit as well. But definitely not a striker that his dad was. No. But I don't know. I would like. I mean, just for the good of the Dutch league, I would love for them to have a potential powerhouse and Ajax kind of set its mark or put Holland back on the map somehow. So if they could form a young, exciting team, not comparable to the what year was it? Was it in 90? When did Ajax win? Was it 93? No, 95. 95, right?
Who was on the roster in 95?
When Ajax won with Kluivert, Seedorf, Van Gaal was the manager, Davids was there, all these youngsters, they were,
95, 96,
Rijkaard was the old
Juventus.
school. That's it, 95. So, that was such a young team, and then they all left to bigger, better things. But if Holland, if Ajax could form a team like that, that would be great, I think. And Odegaard, look, he has potential. I'm happy that he's on the rise for sure.
Sorry, I made a mistake. Ajax actually lost that final. They won the year before, beating Milan.
What? No, not in 94.
94, 95.
94, right. So exactly, the final was in 95.
Correct.
Because the final 94 was Athens.
And then they lost
Barca,
96.
we lost.
They lost 96 in the final.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, those days are long gone for Ajax.
Indeed. Indeed. And Holland. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, what's happening? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, here's to hoping that Dutch football rises again.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to talking to a couple of influencers, if you will, Twitter influencers, Dutch Barca fans that have a large following on Twitter, and I'm inviting them on the D-Spot to talk not only Barca, but I'm particularly interested to pick their brains on what their thoughts are on the state of Dutch football and the Dutch national team, because I haven't lived there for so long, and they live there. I want to make sure, I want to see what they can tell me, and see if there's any hope, man, because it is, I find it just tragic, dude. I find it very, very sad, especially now that I'm doing this master's in sports journalism, and I have so many papers to write, and often I will write about the glory days of, obviously going back to Rinus Michels and Cruyff, and from Basten, Gullit, and Bergkamp, Kluivert, etc., just generations with so much talent, so much football that is now desfumado. It's just gone up in smoke, and I'm eager to know if there's any kind of a glimmer of hope that will come back one day.
Your Dutch accent's pretty good.
No, I speak Dutch fluent. Yeah,
do you speak Dutch with the family?
With my dad. Yeah, with
dad.
my dad and my dad's side of the family, with my sisters as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good place to wrap it up.
All right, man.
Good luck.
Thank you. I will just a little plug. I want to let you know something exciting too. Thanks to our partner, our what do we call it? Our podcast partner in La Liga Lowdown, and David Garrido. He has organized for me to do an interview with Sophie Rose. Don't know if you are aware who Sophie Rose is.
You're gonna have to fill me in.
She's a Chelsea hooligan in a very pretty disguise. Let's put it that way. No, she's a Chelsea fan who has an awesome Chelsea fan channel, and does a great job there on that channel. And basically, David has arranged for us to meet and basically cross-promote each other's platforms. So I'll be promoting La Liga Lowdown, and then as well be able to do an interview with her for D-Spot, and ahead of the Champions League clash, of course, between Barca and Chelsea. So keep an eye out for that. That should be a fun little entertaining episode.
And that's going up after the game or before the game?
Before. That'll be in the build-up, yeah.
Okay.
That'll be on Wednesday.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look forward to that.
For that. Yeah.
Awesome. Check out D-Spot on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And obviously you know where to find me, I hope, at Kiyan So on Twitter. And then I'm also on Facebook and Instagram.
And YouTube.
Yes, and YouTube. Well, all I do is just post the podcasts, and that's it. And I would like to expand and do things like you, but it looks like a lot of work, and that scares me.
That's why I do live, man. You got to do live. Got to learn how to.
So that means there's no editing involved. It's just whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Thanks, Diego. Appreciate it.
My friend.
Chat
Likewise,
soon.
Kiyan.
Take care.
Yes. Cheers.